Morning, everybody. It's good to see you again. Amy, hello. Carrie Ann, Christina, Mary, good to see you from a distance for sure. Olivia, Raquel, Uni, hello, everybody. So we've switched our setup here a little bit, and I now have the ability to see you practice. So if you want to turn your camera on, you can certainly do that, and that way I can give some specific feedback while we practice. Now, if not, it's absolutely okay to have your camera off, so I will leave that up to you. But for now, we'll start with some of those breathing practices we always do. So just sit really tall for the next few moments. Then close your eyes and redirect your focus to your inhaling and your exhaling. If your mind happens to wander elsewhere, just notice as quickly as you're able to and redirect to your breath. And we'll start with the alternate nostril breath. So lift your right hand to your face and place the tip of your index and middle finger right between your eyebrows. Breathe all the way in. Breathe all the way out. Use your thumb to block the right nostril and breathe in left. Bring finger to left, exhale right. And breathe in through the left. Exhale out the right. Breathe in the left. Breathe out the right. Then switch and breathe in through the right. Exhale out the left. Inhale right side. Exhale left side. Breathe in through the right. And out through the left. Drop your hand to your lap momentarily. Breathe all the way in. Breathe all the way out. And then return to normal breathing patterns and just pay attention to your inhaling and your exhaling. Join your hands together in a prayer at your chest and think of someone in your life who could use some good energy. Dedicate your practice to them in your way. And maybe send them some good vibes mentally. And then when you're ready, open up your eyes. All right, so we'll start with a downward facing dog today. So go ahead and step back to a push-up position with your shoulders above your wrists. And then lift your hips all up into the air. Come up to your tiptoes and then bend your knees very slightly. Lift your tailbone upward in the air. And as you do that, drive out through your hands and let your chest drop a little closer to your thighs. Shake your head yes a couple times to loosen up your neck. And then finally, straighten your right leg and bend the left leg a little bit more. Alternate so that your left leg goes straight and the right leg bends. And continue on back and forth like that to loosen up your calves and your hamstrings. Now, next up, roll yourself to a plank position and pause there. Lower yourself all the way down to your stomach. And once you're down, prop yourself up on your elbows. Now press your elbows down into the floor to lift your chest up a little higher. Let your shoulder blades slide down away from your ears towards your belt. And then just lift your chin upwards to stretch your throat also. For the next few moments, take some deep breaths. Now your chest is going to drop just a little bit when you move your arms, but try to keep your chest relatively lifted. Slide your hands back and plant your hands near the bottom of your ribs. Squeeze your shoulders back in together. If you drive down through your hands and maintain the back bend, you'll land in an upward facing dog automatically. And then lift your hips up in the air again for the downward facing one. And take a look forward and either step, walk, or jump to get up to your thumbs. Come all the way up to the tips of your fingers once you've landed there. Lift your chest up high so your spine is really straight. Forward fold with your next exhale. And take your palms closer to the floor beneath. Once again, bend one leg and straighten the other one. And alternate back and forth. You can, of course, keep your fingertips steepled on the ground if you prefer that. Just keep pedaling to loosen up your hamstrings. And then this time around, bend both knees substantially. And use your inhale to roll all the way upwards to standing. And then join your hands together in a prayer at your chest. All right, for the moment, sweep your arms all the way out to the sides and up. Once you've done so, interlace your hands, point your index finger upward. And when you're ready, bend your torso to your right. Gaze upward under your armpit toward the ceiling. And really squish the mat under your left foot so you get a solid side bend in your spine. That's it, Amy. Now use an inhale to come all the way back up. Switch it over to the other side, whichever one you've not got. If you're able to straighten your arms a little bit more, really reach out through your fingertips. If they don't straighten all the way, that's totally okay. Just get as close to it as possible. Now use an inhale to come back up. And then to get to the next one, fold forward from there and take both of your hands down to the ground. Bend your legs for the chair posture and sweep both arms all the way up. All right, now once you've done that, join your hands together in a prayer at your chest. Twist your torso to the right and cross your left elbow completely over your leg. Try to square your hips with the rear of the mat, and then press your hands together to rotate your spine to the side. And try to draw your upper shoulder back just a little bit more to deepen the twist. Next time you breathe in, sweep your arms all the way back up. And from the chair posture, join your hands together at your heart. Switch over for the same posture on the other side and cross your elbow over. Now tuck your ribs down in the front ever so slightly. Press your hands together or rotate your spine home to the edge. Then use an inhale to sweep both arms all the way back up. Straighten out your legs to stand up all the way, and then take your hands to your hips. Now this time, walk your feet apart a little further till they're separated by about hips distance. Now squeeze your elbows back in together. Roll your tail under until your butt sort of firms and gets harder. And then move your hip creases back until your rear end feels a little softer. Lift up to the base of your ribs. Roll your chin back for a back bend. And then forward fold with your next exhale and take your hands down. This time, grab a hold of your big toes with your index and middle finger. Take your thumb to the tip of the big toe. Lift your chest upward and away from your thigh. Fold forward with your exhale and bend your elbows out to the sides. And with straight legs this time, just hang out on the forward fold. Slow, deep breaths. All right, then from there, let go of your feet and use an inhale to lift all the way up to your fingertips. Bend your knees and plant your hands. High push up to low, chaturanga. Then the up dog with an inhale. And the down dog again with your exhale. And drive out through your hands. And this time press both heels closer to the floor beneath you. Once you feel some stretch going down in your hamstrings and calves, just hold there and breathe slowly. Today's Surya Namaskara will be step or jump to the front of your mat. Come up to your fingers once you've done that. Take a forward fold. And then with both legs bent, use an inhale to sweep your arms upwards overhead to the ceiling. Now this one's supposed to be a little horrible, so really sink down into your leg there. That's it. Carry in. Now press your arms overhead as well as back. Rotate your arms so that your palms face your skull. Reach high through your fingertips till both arms feel long and straight. And squeeze your knees together just a little tighter as you hold. Forward fold over bent legs, and as your hands come to the floor, work towards straight legs again. Lift to your fingers on the inhale. Chaturanga push up with your exhale. The up dog on the inhale. And the down dog with your exhale. Warrior one. Step your right foot forward. Turn your back heel down to the floor. Sweep both arms all the way out to the sides and up. Now try to square your hips to the front. And press down through your left heel a little more strongly. Reach high through your fingertips as you hold. And if you like, take some back bend by pressing your arms overhead as well as back, just like you did in the chair pose. And chaturanga push up with your exhale. And plant your hands and step back. Then the up dog as you breathe in. And the down dog as you breathe out. Step your left foot forward. Turn your back heel to the earth. With everything squared forward, use your inhale to sweep your arms outwards and upwards. Press your right foot firmly into the floor, ensuring that your back leg is long, and then bend into that front leg a lot. Press your arms overhead as well as backward to the rear wall, and allow for some back bend as you hold. All right, lean forward, plant your hands, high push up to low. Then the up dog as you breathe in. The down dog as you breathe out. And then hold there and just keep breathing into that. Slow inhales and slow exhales as you hold. Lift your collarbones up toward your thumbs just a little tiny bit. And take a look forward at the front. And we'll move one breath per pose. So from there, step or jump to your thumbs. Come up to your fingers. Take another forward fold. Now bend your legs and upward sweep your arms to the ceiling, the chair. Beautiful, Olivia. Good. Forward fold with your exhale. Both hands down. Lift to your fingertips on the inhale. Chaturanga push up with your exhale. Elbow squeeze in, up dog on the inhale. And the down dog with your exhale. Right foot forward, left heel down, arms up for warrior one. Chaturanga push up with your exhale. Keep your breath rolling, up dog on the inhale. Down dog with your exhale. Step your other foot forward and come up to the top for warrior one. Chaturanga push up with your exhale. The up dog on the inhale. And the down dog stretch with your exhale. Now, if your heels are already touching the ground there beneath, see if you can scoot your feet back just an inch or two more, and then try to press your heels down toward the floor beneath again. And this will be the final round of all of those, for the moment at least. Look forward, and then step Or hop to your thumbs and come up to your fingers. Forward fold as you exhale. Bend your legs and inhale, both arms up. Forward fold with your exhale. Lift to your fingers on the inhale. Chaturanga time, launch back through that. Up dog as you breathe in. Down dog as you breathe out. Right foot forward, inhale upwards to warrior one. Chaturanga push up with your exhale. The up dog as you breathe in. Down dog as you breathe out. Left foot forward, back heel to the floor, arms up with your inhale. Chaturanga push up with your exhale. Up dog with your inhale. Down dog to rest again. And try to breathe through your nose. And if it helps to slow down your breathing, create that Darth Vader sound across the back of your throat. All right, this time come up to your tippy toes and step your right foot all the way forward to your hands. Turn your back heel down to the ground and come up to warrior two with your torso facing off to the edge. Now in this one, drop your right hip crease closer to the ground to bend your leg deeper, and then reach both arms completely out to your sides. Check into your back arm, make sure that it's hovering there at about shoulder height. And then suck your arm bones into your body to draw your shoulders back in together. Let your shoulders drop down toward your belt and gaze in dramatic fashion out over your right fingertips. Then still holding that posture on the base, reach down and grab your right inner ankle with your right hand. Use your shoulder to press your knee sideways. Reach down and grab the underside of your ribs with your left hand. And then just spin your rib cage open to the side. Reach your left arm straight upwards into the air. And for a little bit, keep twisting your spine. Try to maintain all that bend in your front leg as you hold. All right, you all use an inhale to pop back up to warrior two. That's enough of that one, so straighten your leg and turn your feet to face the side of your mat. All right, warrior two in the other direction. Once you spun your feet around, bend your leg. Now sometimes if you sink your left sitting bone straight down toward the floor, you can get a little more bend in your leg. Your shoulders position is looking good. Just hug your arm bones into your body like you're sliding dresser drawers into a dresser. Let your shoulders fall down your back and just keep breathing deeply as you reach out. Now for the next position, reach down and grab your left inner ankle with your left hand. That way you can use your shoulder to press your knee sideways. Reach your right arm straight up in the air and just twist everything open to the side. As you twist, try to tuck your ribs down in the front so your torso is really compact and there's no back bend at all. And then just keep rotating and spinning. All the way back up for a full warrior two. Straighten your leg, turn your feet to face the long edge of your mat. And then take a really big step to get all the way back up to the front again. Once you're there, join your hands together in a prayer at your chest. All right, inhale and sweep both arms upwards. Forward fold with your exhale. Lift to your fingers on the inhale. Step your right foot back to a lunge. Turn your heel up to the ceiling and square your hips with the front. Next, use an inhale to sweep your arms outwards and upwards. Now as you hold there, roll your tail under a little bit. Press back through your rear leg till you feel stretched in the front of the right leg itself. And then bend into the front leg. Reach strongly up through your fingertips as you hold. Now, human arms weigh a lot, so take your arms all the way out to your sides. And to make this next posture a little easier. And then lean forward over your leg till your belly and your chest come down to the thigh. Without lifting your ribs away from the leg itself, lift your collarbones just a little higher so you're kind of back bending with your ribs on the leg. Press your right heel back harder. And if you want to go further, reach your arms forward with palms up and just lift your arms a little higher upwards into the air. Slow, deep breaths even now. And now we want to preserve strength for what's to come. So plant your hands on the mat and step straight away back to the down dog. Take attention to your right leg and step it forward to that lunge, adjust it. Square your hips to the front. Sweep your arms all the way outwards and upwards. And it's like a scared puppy dog. Roll your tail under a little bit. Press back through your left heel a little harder. And reach strongly up to the fingertips as you keep the bend in the front leg. Now everything on your base just remains as it is, but reach your arms way out to your sides. Now when you lean forward, you want belly and chest contact on the leg. Let's try to get the whole base of your ribs onto the thigh. Sometimes as you lean, the back leg buckles a little bit, so straighten it out as much as possible. A little more back bend with your collarbones lifted. And then arms forward if you want to make it a lot harder. Palms up and arms lifted to the sky as you keep pressing your left heel back to the rib. And now plant your hands down on the floor. Transition is different. Step forward. Come all the way up to the tips of your fingers. And then forward fold with your exhale. Now from that forward fold, come up to your tiptoes. Squat really deeply down on your heels. And then move your knees way out to the sides. Now once you've got that going down, walk your hands a little further forward. And then just let your booty drop down towards your heels, so you're really, really heavy in the hips. With hands extended forward, curl your chin to your chest. Belly crunch down to the front just like you're doing an old school sit-up. And let your head come a little bit closer to the mat. All right, now today we're going to try a slightly wider hand position for the crow. So back your hands up towards your body just as you might normally. Now today you'll notice that my shoulders are right above the wrists. Try wider than that. Take your hands apart till they're wider than your hips. Make sure your fingers are all faced forward and then bend your elbows out to the sides. Now you might have to back your hands up a little bit more. But from that really wide position, rock from one side to the other and try to get your legs to touch your upper arms. All right, now initially, just keep your feet on the floor, bend your elbows a little bit, and lean some weight into your palms. If you want to take it deeper, lift your hips upward into the air. If that's going pretty well, dig your fingertips into the floor hard and lift one foot or both feet all the way off of the ground. Olivia, you're flying. Yes, Carrie Ann. Good, Amy. Keep on breathing deep. And then take your feet all the way back down to the floor beneath. All right, so you're super close to that crow right now. Now, one thing that I'm noticing as you're moving into the balance is some of you are at the point now where you're sort of hanging out here, and then you have to hop your feet off the floor. Now, that just shows that your shoulders aren't quite far enough forward. So this next time around, lift up to that point where you want to hop. Try to shift your shoulders forward just a little bit more until you can come to the tip of your big toe. And then from there, if you dig your fingers into the floor, you just bend your legs to lift your feet. So one more time on your own, but try to lean forward a little bit more. Use those fingertips too, really glue them down into the earth. Yeah, Carrie Ann, that's exactly it. You see? Beautiful. Beautiful. Remember, look forward as much as you can. A little more forward lean, Olivia, if you can get it. Yeah, fly it. Good. All right, everybody, you have a new party trick. That's amazing. All right, move back to the child's pose for now. Just let your hips settle back towards your heels. Make sure you truly rest your arms by just folding them back near your sides. All right, then walk your hands forward again. And once you've done so, roll through your arms for the upward facing dog. And lift your hips upright again for the downward facing dog. Then take a look forward to the front. Step or jump to land up there. Come all the way up to the tips of your fingers. Then bend your legs for the chair and use an inhale to sweep both arms all the way up. Now for the eagle's pose today, cross your left knee over top of right. If you like, you can intertwine your ankles, otherwise leave them loose like mine. And wrap your left arm under the right. Intertwine your forearms. And with your elbows lifted high, just press your hands away from your face and your jaw for now. Now use an inhale to sweep your arms out and up and draw your knee high to your chest. Take your foot to the floor and join your hands together at a prayer at your heart. Bend your legs and sweep your arms all the way up. Wrap your right leg over top of left. You can intertwine your ankles, go forward or not, and then cross your right arm onto the left. Intertwine to the best of your ability. With your elbows lifted, press your hands away from your face again. Use an inhale to sweep your arms out and up. Draw your knee high to your chest. Drop your foot to the floor and join your hands at your heart. And at the tree pose next, Vrikshasana. Start out with your feet pretty close together. And then take your left ankle towards your right inner ankle, or slide your foot higher and higher up. You can put it anywhere that you like. Once you've got there, join your hands together in a prayer. Root down through your foot and stretch upward through your trunk. Like any balancing posture ever, just try to keep your eyes locked on something solid. And take your foot all the way back down. Now, if your balance is a little wobbly, you can always turn your toes out very slightly. Draw your other foot up and take it to approximately similar position. Join your hands together in a prayer again. Look at something solid out there on the earth and keep breathing into it as you hold. Beautiful tree, Amy. If your foot tends to slip, curl your toes back a little bit. Press your heel into your inner thigh and your inner thigh into your heel. And then your foot all the way back down to the floor beneath. Now use an inhale to sweep both arms all the way up. Forward fold as you exhale. Lift to your fingers on the inhale. Step or hop back to the high push-up position. And this time lower down to your stomach. Now once you're there on your belly, slide the base of your ribs a little further forward so your belly kind of stretches. As you hold there, walk your hands back a little bit so your elbows are right above the wrists. And then to strengthen your back, lift your chest and your hands and your legs all the way off the ground. Good. Now use your exhales to come down. And your inhales to rise up. Self-paced, keep it going for 30 more seconds. Medicine for your back. Use your inhales for the lifting and your exhales for the dropping. "15 seconds to go. And try to keep your breath really deep throughout. "5 seconds. Hold at the top for the final one. Squeeze your shoulders all the way back. Point your toes to make it look pretty and just keep breathing deeply. All right, relax to come down. Once you're there, bend your legs and wave your ankles from one side to the other side. Now for the next position, roll over onto the right-hand side of your body and prop yourself up on your right elbow. Draw your knees toward your chest. And then with your feet touching and your elbow on the ground just as it is, lift your left knee into the air. Now drive down through your elbow on the knee and lift your hips all the way up. Reach your left arm up to the ceiling. Now this one is dynamic too, so let your hips come all the way down to the floor. As your hip touches, touch your knees. Wrap your left arm under the torso. Then use your inhales to lift everything. Knees open. Perfect. Exhale, drop down. And keep it going. 30 seconds. Squeeze your booty every time you rise to the top. Really slow, deliberate breaths. You're doing a great job of wrapping your shoulder under as you drop. Keep doing that for the rotation. 10 seconds left. All right, just roll over onto your left-hand side and prop yourself up on that elbow when you're ready. Now, legs don't have to be bent to a full 90 degrees. Just get as close to that as you can. Wrap your right arm all the way under for the rotation. And then lift with your inhales. And you've got this one, so you just keep going. Huge inhales to rise. And huge exhales to drop. This will help to support your lower back as we start bending. And it will also help to build some strength in the posterior chain that you don't get in those standing postures. Creates a balancing effect. 10 more seconds. And then for the moment, come all the way back down. And from there, roll forward and down onto your belly. Prop yourself up on your elbows like a sphinx, just as we did at the beginning of the class. This time though, try to parallel your forearms so they're parallel to the sides of your mat. Press your elbows down into the floor and lift your chest. Now, if you straighten your arms at a diagonal, sometimes that puts a lot of pressure in your lower back. Now, if you want to move towards straight arms, try it a little differently today. If you're going for it, shrug your shoulders up near your ears until your elbows lift. And then slowly work on straightening your arms. If that hurts your lower back, do this one with elbows down. Now that's a weird shoulder position for sure, so slide your shoulders down toward your belt. Now pretend that your arms were like 2 ice cream cones, and that your torso were like melting ice cream. You can keep your arms a little bent if you like, or straight, but let the ice cream of your torso melt onto the cones of your arms. You sort of let your chest sink down and forward. From there, that should have positioned most of the back bend in the middle of your spine. Lift up through your collarbones and chest and just maintain that. And then roll your elbows all the way back down to the floor. Plant your hands near the bottom of your ribs. And press to an up dog with an inhale. And lift your hips back up again for the down dog stretch. Step your left foot all the way forward. Take your back knee to the floor. And then give your left foot a tiny turn out. Spin it out to the side a little. All right, now with your right hand on the floor and your left hand on your knee, rotate toward your bent leg. And drop your hips a bit closer to the floor beneath. The next posture might not necessarily work, so if it doesn't, just keep doing what you're doing. Now, if you shift your bum back a little tiny bit, that'll take some of the tension off your quads and it'll make it easier to bend your back leg. Reach back, try to grab a hold of your right foot with your left hand. If you get it, pull your heel towards your posterior, and then let your hips drop down toward the front of the mat to get your quadriceps. And spin your chest open to the side a little bit more. Next, still holding your foot, press it backward into your hand. And then take a back bend by lifting up through the walls of your chest. And just keep pressing your foot backward into your palm. Squeeze your left shoulder back toward the spine to open up your heart. Release that one there. Plant your hands, step back to the high push-up, lower down through chaturanga, and then the up dog and the down dog as well. Step your right foot forward to the front of your mat. Take your back knee down. Now, sometimes the balance can be a little shaky, so turn your toes out to the side just a little bit on your right foot. With your left hand on the floor and your right hand to your knee, start out with the preliminary twist. The most important thing, really let your hips sink down. Now, sometimes you can just bend your leg and grab your foot. I find it easier to shift my hips back, so you might try that. Reach back for the clasp. In the first one, you're trying to get heel to glute contact, so just draw your heel in that direction. And as you hold, let your hips sink forward and downward toward the front of your mat. Well, if you've got your foot, then kick it backward into your hand. Lift up to the front of your chest, do a back bend like you would on the up dog, and just press, press, press backward through the foot as you hold there. Really, really heavy hips as you maintain. All right, y'all, this time let go of your foot. Step back to the high plank position with your arms straight. And lower downward to your stomach. All right, old school bull posture. Slide your legs a little wider apart until they're about hips distance wide, or even slightly more. Use all that bendiness you developed. Bend your legs. Reach back and grab your feet as near the toes as possible. And there's a few iterations of this, but today, lean forward and put your head on the floor. Now, without lifting your forehead yet, press your feet way up in the air into your hands. If your knees want to move apart a little bit, that's okay today. Now, with your head still on the ground, press your feet just a little higher upwards. Now, just look forward to lift your head. Try to keep the weight pitching forward toward the bottom rim of your ribs, and your feet will lift really, really high upward into the air. All right, now if you want a deeper stretch, take your big toes closer together and actually try to touch your big toes. If you can't quite touch them, that's all right. And then come all the way down to the floor. Let go of your legs and wave your ankles from one side to the other side. This next one is very slightly different in that you grab a different contact point. So lift your chest. When you reach back to grab your legs, grab your shins. Now lift your chest a little higher. That will enable you to walk your hands further down your legs toward your knees. Yeah, just like that, Carrie Ann. Good. Now this is a burner, so buckle up, all right? Lift your chest as high as you can. Press your feet straight back to the wall behind you. Olivia's even managing to do it with a smile. Well done, you. Lift your chest a little higher. Keep pressing back through your feet. That's it, Amy. Breathe deep. And then come all the way back down to the floor. Bend your legs and wave your ankles from one side to the other side. Now, if it helps, you can use your knees for the transition, but plant your hands near the bottom rim of your ribs. Try to keep your torso stiff like a board and press from the low push-up to the high push-up. Pause there at the top. Now, with your shoulders stacked above your wrists, pretend you've got a really expensive glass of wine stacked between your shoulder blades. Your goal is to keep the torso stationary so you don't lose a drop. Draw your left knee toward your chest, and then the right. And for some mountain climbers, just alternate back and forth between those two sides. No need to go crazy fast. You just want to keep everything stable in your core. 15 more seconds. All right, imagine that glass of wine had disappeared, and lift your hips back up for the down dog. Step your left foot forward. And take your back knee to the ground, your left hand to your knee, and then reach your right arm all the way up to the sky. Rotate toward your bent leg, physically cross your elbow over, and then join your hands together in a prayer, and rotate and twist your spine. Next, use your left hand to press your right hand down to your left hip. Tighten down on the spin a little bit, and then take your left hand to your lower back and just keep twisting. We're at release there, and then take the pigeon. Swing your left ankle toward your right hip, scoot your rear leg backwards, and lean all the way forward onto your elbows. As you hold there, just try to apply a bunch of weight to your hips by sinking downward. Plant your hands and step back to the down dog. Lunge your right foot all the way forward. Take your back knee to the ground, your right hand to your knee, and then your left arm upward overhead. And cross your elbow all the way over the leg. If possible, try to take up all the space between your armpit and your knee, or just get as close to that as possible. Join your hands together in prayer at first, and twist. Use your right hand to press your left hand down till it comes closer to or all the way to your hip. Place your right hand on your low back and continue to twist and continue to spin. Release and find your way to the pigeon stretch. Right ankle toward your left hip. Your knee and your shin all the way down to the floor. And then a full forward fold onto your elbows. Roll over onto your hips, swing your legs forward to the front of your mat. And once you've done that, just roll all the way down to lay down on your back. Reach both your arms all the way out to your sides. If you have a favorite spinal twist, do it with your knees pointed right. Otherwise, draw your knees towards your chest. Drop them over to the right and rotate your gaze left. Now, if you're doing that one with your legs bent and your knees dropped to the side and you want a slightly different variation, straighten your legs completely and try to grab the blade edge of your foot with the hand that's closest to them. So right hand to left foot if you can get it up there. Sweep them all the way back up. And then take your legs over for the same posture on the other side. And then when you're ready, come all the way back up and find your way to the corpse pose, flat out on your back. Make any final adjustments necessary so that you can get comfortable and still. So I've had a trainer come to my classes intermittently over the course of many years. She always does really great with the physical aspect of the practice, but I think the end of class is pure torture for her. Usually she tries to sit out the Shavasana practices. She usually lasts for about 3 minutes, and then she runs like hell. She jumps off of her mat, heads out, and that's the last I see of her for a couple of months. Now, a while back, we had the opportunity to talk, and she mentioned that when she lays down on the floor, she feels really, really anxious. She tells me that she oftentimes feels kind of nervous and anxious when she's doing her day to day stuff, and laying down on the floor only seems to make it worse. I think that that's really important to recognize, and it's altogether possible that that can happen to all of us, even if we're not anxious people. See, sometimes if you have a lot of stuff going on in your life, some challenges to work through, or even if your life is just really, really busy, it can sort of get your nervous system stuck in fight or flight mode. When that happens, you have adrenaline flooding through your system, your heartbeat accelerates, your breath starts to move faster, and as a consequence of that, you have a ton of energy, but that energy can be really agitating. Which does mean that when you get to a posture like this can seem like pure hell if you're in fight or flight mode. Now, if that does happen, it's possible to actually de-trigger your system by taking fewer breaths. And after I found out that she was struggling with that problem, we started to do that. I'm really happy to say that she can do an entire 15-minute meditation no problem now. By channeling her breath and slowing down her exhale, she's gotten to the point where she can relax her nervous system to the point where this final practice feels good. So today we're going to practice that technique that she's been practicing. We're going to slow down to fewer than 12 breaths per minute. Now, I've mentioned this before, but this might make you uncomfortable, so it's important to understand what's happening physiologically. Your body's oxygen levels stay completely stable throughout this exercise. You're only going to be holding your breath for about 5 to 5.5 seconds, which is not enough to knock a substantial dent into your oxygen levels. Now, nevertheless, as you practice, you will experience some discomfort. Now, sometimes you might start to feel a little air hunger, like when you've held your breath to jump into a swimming pool and you hold your breath a little too long. That uncomfortable sensation is raising carbon dioxide. It's completely harmless, completely natural, and it can actually help to relax your body and mind. So as you start this practice, if you experience a little breathlessness, know that that's completely normal. Try to do your best to relax through it. If you can't seem to hold your breath long enough, try to swallow before you take a breath, which will buy you some more time. And then, of course, return to normal inhales and exhales if you need some recovery breaths before we carry on. Now, this is a little bit like anything. If you're used to breathing faster at first, this will feel a little bit strange. But after a while, your body will adjust and it'll become much easier to take fewer breaths. So today, just do your best to relax and know that as long as you keep at it, that point will come. Aside from that, this can do an amazing job in helping with anxieties. So take a moment to close your eyes if they're not already so. And then shift your focus to your eyes. And breathe normally. For this exercise, you don't want to extend your inhale or exhale at all. Now, at the end of your next natural exhale, pause your breath and stay focused on your eyes. Breathe in. Your ears, breathe out. Hold your breath out again. Breathe in. Your nostrils, breathe out. Breathe in. Your cheeks, breathe out. Relax as you hold your breath out. Breathe in. Your lips, breathe out. Breathe in. Your teeth, breathe out. Breathe in. Tip of your tongue, breathe out. Breathe in. Center throat and breathe out. Breathe in. Your shoulders, breathe out. Breathe in. Your elbows, breathe out. Breathe in. Your wrists, breathe out. Breathe in. Your palms, breathe out. Breathe in. Fingertips, breathe out. Breathe in. Your hips, breathe out. Breathe in. Your knees, breathe out. Breathe in. Your ankles, breathe out. Breathe in. Bottoms of your feet, breathe out. Breathe in. Tips of your toes, breathe out. Breathe in. Sides of your body, breathe out. Breathe in. Back of your body, breathe out. Breathe in. Your navel, breathe out. Breathe in. Center chest, breathe out. Breathe in. Tips of your shoulders, breathe out. Breathe in. Back of your neck, breathe out. Breathe in. Center of your chest, breathe out. And then return to normal breaths again. Few rounds of recovery breath. Just breathe as you do normally. So in that particular exercise, you were taking around 12 breaths per minute, which is enough to kick you from fight or flight mode toward rest and digest mode, a much more relaxed state of body and mind. Now, to deepen the effects, I'm going to ask you to self-pace and to take even fewer breaths. The goal for this next set of practice is to take only 9 breaths over the course of a minute. Though, if you want to challenge yourself, you can reduce the numbers down to perhaps only 3 or 4. Now, to do this, you just have to be really comfortable with being uncomfortable. So you'll breathe normally just as you did. You'll pause until it becomes slightly or actually uncomfortable at the end of your exhale. You relax as long as you can. When you have to breathe, you take another inhale and exhale and continue on. Now, if a 9 counts is not enough for you, you can of course keep it at 12 by maintaining the same rhythm you did before. Or more if necessary. This is something to build up to over time. So choose your goal, 12 breaths, 9 breaths, or fewer, all the way down to only 3 or 4 if you wish. And self-paced, begin counting how many exhales you take, beginning now. Hold your breath out and try to relax. When you're tempted to breathe, swallow. Breathe when you have to, and then continue on. You're 15 seconds in. 30 seconds in. Relax your body and mind. 15 seconds left. Either maintain that same rhythm or reduce your count by 1, beginning in now. If you only took 3 breaths before, that's about as good as you wanted to get, so maintain that. 45 seconds to go. Thirty seconds left. Swallowing helps if you're tempted to breathe. Remember, you have plenty of oxygen left, even now. 15 seconds to go. And then return to normal breathing patterns. And just let your mind and body relax. And when you're ready, roll all the way over and onto one side. With both of your eyes closed, come back to a seated and cross-legged posture of some type. And then join your hands together in a prayer at your chest. Remember the person you dedicated your practice to. Now to pray for or wish for their happiness and their health. Take a moment to be thankful for the gift of another day. And if you wish, repeat after me. May all sentient beings everywhere experience peace.